Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Steven Inks. My name is Steven and we're looking at a pen today. It's been on my radar for a while, but I didn't actually buy this pen. It was given to me by a viewer of this channel, so thank you so much for that. We're looking at the Jinhao 9019 today. One of those big chunky size pens for fans of like the Conklin All-American, or some other larger size pens. We're going to get a look at this pen. We're going to look at the parts, the features. We are going to test out lines with it, and then we're going to do a nice drawing or so. I hope you're ready to get started. Okay, here's the pen up close. You can see at the top here, we got it says Jinhao. Kind of not exactly super elegant, but it just has the letters kind of carved into there. Sort of a ball tip clip. The clip has some flexibility in it, which you could see is due to that thin wire that connects back here. And something that I think is kind of nice is that the pieces here don't actually come off. I think I would just prefer this method of attachment. If you look inside the cap, that there's like a little screw down there that you can see. That's how you would take that that clip out, or how it would be attached in the factory, I suppose. So you don't normally take the clip out. But I find that these little top things sometimes can get a little bit loose when they're able to unscrew from the top. So I don't know, I kind of like that. I like the thickness of the body. You can see that nice nib. There's a Jinhao extra fine. And you definitely can see that it looks like a lot of the Jinhao nibs that you would normally get. It does feel a lot wider. You get this big fat feed right here that leads into the nib, that leads into the body. You can definitely feel the kind of girth of this pen. It's kind of a shallow post, but it is a sufficient post. Plastic on plastic does to kind of just stick on there. So you don't have to go too deep, but it does work. You can see on the cap lining it says Jinhao. Then it says Da Dao, and I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly. I'm told by the very kind gentleman who gave me this pen that that means wide road, which is actually a really great name for this pen. And then you can see 9019 is the model number right there. All looks very nice, very clean. The design is great. I haven't talked about this yet, but of course you can see it because it's a demonstrator pen. But look at this converter. Wow. It's so incredibly thick. It's just a regular converter, like a piston converter. But it's so wide in there that you'd be forgiven for thinking that it was actually a piston filling pen, but this is actually a converter. Threaded on the front there, goes into this feed from the bottom, and I just like it. It's leaning into the large idea of the pen, and it's big. I do like a big pen every now and again. I know some people really like thin ones, but I mean, I think it's comfortable. And there's a little rubber O-ring right there. It gives you that nice closure when you twist it tight. And yeah, this does look metallic, but it feels plastic. So we do have plastic threads on plastic threads for this screw-in part. So that's nice. It'll keep them from wearing away at the plastic. Yeah, this pen looks really, really cool. I want to play with it. I'm gonna get some ink into it and see what we've got. I'm settled on the Diatramentis Document Ink Brown color for a couple reasons. One, I wanted a nice dark color that goes well with the gold accents in this pen, even though I feel that a demonstrator pen that's translucent like this pen is could take pretty much any color ink. But I also wanted something that I had a good chance of being able to actually fill the pen in a traditional way, because we've got such a wide section going into the ink bottle. So of course, with a smaller bottle, you can obviously fill with any ink you like. You just might have to use a blunt needle syringe or other tools that you've seen used on this channel before. But the way this is going to work is we're just going to take the pen itself, unscrew it, and take the body cap off here, and then place the pen into the ink. Those of you that are kind of interested in seeing a little up close, I'm gonna just adjust my camera angle just a tad to hopefully give you a better picture of what's going on here. Okay, we'll drop that in there, and then I'm going to twist the piston of the pen to go down. I'm just rotating it counterclockwise, and then clockwise, lifting up. We get a nice amount of ink that first fill. I'm actually really happy with that as it is. So let me clean this tip off, and when we get everything going, we're going to see how many lines we get, or the quality of those lines. We've got our pen all inked up, and now we're going to see how this one lays down a line. So we'll start in here. Ooh, okay. I feel a lot of control here. This is a traditional Jinhao nib, which to me is a very good thing. Because you have lots of control over how things look, and the lines are relatively thin for an extra fine. The Chinese extra fines, you kind of don't always know what you're getting. Sometimes they're a little too fine, sometimes they're kind of a Japanese, rarely. They're more like a Western fine most of the time, or extra fine, I should say. But they can be wild variances to the point that you don't even really know what you're gonna end up having when you see that, even from the same brand. Like this extra fine doesn't even really look like another extra fine I can think of that I actually have from Jinhao as well. So, but this is nice, and it's got a nice bit of smoothness to it. It's kind of glassy. I don't know, since this is a pen that was given to me, like a donated pen, I don't know if the previous owner took some time to process the nib. If they did a really great job of it, because this works really well. And if they didn't, then you're getting an amazing pen out of the box. I would say to that, if you're worried about that, just know that there is the potential for this fantastic nib, even if that's not what comes in the box. And I do have some videos on how to process a nib to get it working pretty much like this on this channel. Let me know if you think it's time for me to update that video. It's been a few years since I put it out, but it's pretty tried and true. And I tend to not process my nibs before I take a video of a new pen, because I really just want to share the out-of-the-box experience. But in this case, the out-of-the-box experience of getting a kind person that just mails you a pen is that sometimes it arrives in a fantastic, ready-to-use fashion. So I'm really grateful for that. And I feel I have lots of control with this pen, and I can do lots of things with it that I would want to do. So that's kind of what you want. There's not much beyond that you could even hope for, right? So I got my shapes here. Still comfortable to hold. If you're looking for a thick pen, this is definitely that. I don't think this will win anyone over on thick pens. If you like really thin pens, you're probably not going to be into this one very much, but I think the market for thin pens is, I feel like most people want something kind of in the middle. So if you like the really big, fat, thick pens, this is going to be one of your options. And you can get a nice line off this with the nib as it is. I can just go over it again and end up with a thicker line just to kind of give you an idea of what that could look like. And let's not forget the forward, kind of juicy, with reverse, nice and thin. And this reverse writing actually keeps up pretty well. That's something that reverse writing doesn't typically do. You'll find it's a lot easier to draw with the pen the traditional way than to turn it over and draw in reverse writing. It makes sense, but this is a really useful tool for an artist. So when you have a pen nib that can reverse about as well as it can forward, you've got a really cool tool, and you should hold on to that. So moving on, before we go into our actual drawing, I want to give you some art advice. This is going to be coming from some of my recent realizations. Choose the tools that make you happy. I read a book a while back from a well-meaning author. I think they meant no disrespect or condescension in it, but they were saying you shouldn't actually, when you're learning how to paint, you shouldn't actually use watercolor as the first painting medium that you're going to use, which is what I learned on, and a lot of people learn on watercolor. I think it's because it's stylistically so similar to having a sketchbook, because you can do it on paper, and sometimes it plays well with pen and ink. But they were saying, well, you have all these extra things to worry about with watercolor, like you have to think about the translucency and something like a wash, or different styles of watercolor, and how the pigments work together. And you have to think about how when the colors dry, they dry a very different color than how they go on wet. So you have to learn how to memorize that. And all of that is extra stuff to know. It would be easier to go with something like a water-based acrylic, because water-based acrylics dry a little more similar or closer to the color that they go on wet as. We've got an opaque color, so there's no translucency to think about, and you can just block in your colors and mix a little more easily. And I realized that may be true. There's a lot of wisdom in that, to start with something simpler, but at the end of the day, I love putting down a wet brush of ink with watercolor and seeing two colors blend together like magic. It's so fun. It makes me happy and excited. It's okay if you do it the hard way, as long as you enjoy the journey. So use whatever tools you like, use whatever tools you can afford. Just keep using tools and learning how to do new things, all right? So what ended up happening with this drawing was I did this first one. It was a little more of a still life type of thing based on all the gardening my wife and I have been doing recently.
I didn't feel confident that it looked like what I wanted it to look like. It felt a little boring to me, so I ended up sitting on this video for quite some time till I came up with something else to do, a different drawing. And coming back to this, I honestly don't think it's too bad. I think I did an interesting job of something that I don't normally do. So I decided, instead of just posting the new drawing, I'm posting this drawing along with the new one. So you get 2 drawings today, and I get extra time to talk about pens. The experience of drawing with this pen is nice. I've mentioned before that I have the Conklin All-American. There's a video on that pen on this channel, and the thickness is about the same, the way that it feels in your hand. I find that people with larger hands, at least for myself, I have kind of largish hands. The comfort level is a little bit higher with a thicker pen as opposed to a thinner one where you have to grasp super tight. If your carpals on your hands clam up when you've been writing for a long time or drawing for a long time or doing anything with your hands for a long time, this is nice. I do get that problem from time to time, so it's nice to have something that I could hold with a little looser grip, and just have it feel comfortable without having to kind of squeeze in on my fingers in order to get it to listen to me. I guess it's hard to explain what I mean by that, but just allowing the pen to work and do what I want it to do without me having to hope and pray that it works correct. So obviously I got a lot of use and a lot of lines out of this first drawing. Let me know what you think, if you prefer this to the second one, which is coming up right now. This one's a little more silly. It's kind of my style to do something silly and ridiculous, but I kept with the plants theme. So if you like plants, then today is your day. This particular drawing took me more time to plan, but less time to actually draw, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm glad I didn't just stop at my first idea and went with something else in addition. But like I said, I think I like both. Let me know which one you like in the comments. I've been really enjoying this pen for the last couple of weeks as I kind of prepared this video. It's an easy one to pick up, to put down, and it doesn't leak. It always flows. It doesn't stop up. It's just a really nicely made pen. For the price that you could get this pen at, it's impressive. It also sometimes makes me wonder why I spend so much money on other pens when oftentimes some of my most consistent experiences have been with cheaper pens like this one. Got a little into the drawing. You could tell I'm really into it whenever my face or my head accidentally gets into the camera during the time lapse, which it does quite a few times with this one. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. What would you title this one? I'm trying to think of a way that I would title this. It's just the need to escape, perhaps. I feel that need sometimes. Maybe you do too. Anyway, I hope you like this drawing, and I hope you like the other drawing, and I hope you're having a good day.
Final thoughts on this pen? It punches above its weight. As a fountain pen that's on the cheaper side, you couldn't go wrong buying this, especially if you really like a big chunky kind of pen. I found that the flow was a lot nicer than some other large size pens that Jinhao puts out that I have seen before and reviewed on this channel. Of course, something like a Conklin All-American is a much nicer pen, but the trade-off between the cost difference of the two pens, I think you're still getting a solid bargain with the 9019. So something worth having if you are in the market for something exactly like this. If you have this pen, let me know in the comments. Do you agree with my evaluation of it? Is there more that you want to add? Personally, I'll be using this pen a lot. Inexpensive pens are nice when you have to take one to work or on a vacation with you, and you're not worried about ruining or losing your favorite $100 pen. So I do have a few pens like this that'll be in my rotation quite often. If you enjoyed this video, give me a like, leave a comment down below if you have some thoughts on this pen, and please don't forget that if you enjoy this content and you want to see more like it, you can subscribe to this channel at any time. So I'll leave that to you. I hope to see you in the next video, which is coming out soon.